Okay, I since I had to stop, I went and looked up the those other two movies. One is called Capricorn One, and one is called They Live. So I haven't watched those ones yet. Um, but since he put them with The Matrix and The Truman Show, I'm guessing that it's probably the same kind of thing, like some kind of disclosure over this artificial environment that we live in. Um, so that's my guess. Estella has been in such a mood. Oh my gosh. I I I would imagine it's got to be because Winston dying, that it's affected her so much that this crying and being lonely. Like a minute ago, she was trying to get under the chair, and she's strong and she's big. When she starts deciding she wants to get in the fridge, or now she's decided if there's something on the cabinet, she can just stand up and get it. She's so smart. But one of the things the other day I've noticed, I think this was probably the thing I was going to say the other yesterday that I forgot, was that when she goes outside. So when you go out my front door, you're on a porch, and on each side of the porch is a way to go off. So you could go off the porch and go towards the front yard, or you could go off and go towards the backyard. So and it rains a lot here because I'm in the Pacific Northwest. And so when she goes out, then she will go to one side, she'll see it's raining, and then she'll turn around and she'll go back to the other side and check to see if it's raining. And I just thought, how funny, like, how a dog's brain could be working. I mean, like, we don't know. Because I swear to God, I think she thinks I control the weather. She'll check, like, okay, it's raining over here, so is it raining over there? Maybe it's different. It just is, it's just it's fascinating to me to watch how their minds work. And there's so many people who miss out on it, There's just so many people who are just living this false life of, just trying to survive, and it's just also manipulated. It's so horrible, and it's all this agenda, to control us and tell us what we need to do and how we need to be, and they mark it progressive, but it's really just control. It's just the controllers needing more control. There's too many people, and the controllers are globalists, and they are what's the other word? I just flew right through there. Well, I'd probably get in trouble for saying it anyways and get kicked off of YouTube. So, but eugenics. These people, those people who are the controllers, that's the stuff they believe in. They believe that we need to all be under one governing system, which is them. We need to be completely controlled. They need to kill off most of us. They need that the ones that are still here, they need them to not have identity, gender, family, no identity. They need to be desperate to survive. For them to be sick is handy because they'll sell them the drugs they need. They'll continue to slowly poison us to death. And it's so remarkable how many people are sick and they don't realize it, that it's all these poisons and stuff, the slow poisoning of us. If you look up about arsenic poisoning, this slow thing, people are they're all so sick. They've all got so many issues, and so many people are on drugs for anxiety, depression, and if you go on any of those, then right away you got to be on some other ones, because you're going to have side effects from those, and then you're going to have to take some for those side effects, and then you'll have side effects from those, so then you'll have to take some for those side effects, and then you'll have side effects from all those, and it's a scam. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And all you got to do is think like human beings were around for a long time without drug companies. I think it was smart when they learned that there were germs in blood, and they stopped going around like before. It wasn't even that long ago that when a doctor would do surgeries and stuff, they would go in and they would do the surgery. I don't think they wore gloves or anything like that. They would wear a white jacket over their clothes, um, whatever, a lab coat or something. They'd wear something over their clothes. I think some of them even just wore aprons. But then after they were done, some of them, they didn't even wash their hands. They would just go around and see their patients. So they were passing all this germs around, and they didn't have any awareness of that. So there's some things that, we needed to understand about the transferring of germs and stuff like that. But I mean, this stuff going on now is just over the top. It's ridiculous. And this, getting people to think that they can, fight death or something, that they can be bypassed in this whole thing of like, well, if you don't do it, you may die too soon. You may die early. Like, oh my God, it's impossible. And the creation of the victim mentality, that just really, really annoys me. So many people would rather just claim their victimhood than to be assertive and take their place or demand their place or whatever. And I yesterday, after I was talking about people being abused, I think I've talked about it a couple days. I think I really got on that rant after I watched that one new movie, that had all those characters that were ridiculous. How, I don't even know, have we ever even seen a movie where they didn't make Southerners racist? Like, and if you don't travel around a lot, if you don't go to all these different places, then you will believe what they're telling you, that that's what these people are, in all the different communities, And so when they do these movies and they make these people into idiots, then we all just think, oh my God, these people are just idiots. No, the actors are disrespecting people. You don't have to make someone look stupid all the time. And I was thinking about, because I've been watching a lot of these old cop dramas or whatever, and the whole way that the cops act and stuff, that I remember before it used to be that they would say that these actors, they, I don't know, maybe it was when they won awards or something, I'm not sure. I used to read People magazine all the time, a long time ago. But I know that they would be like, well, I went and followed a cop around for, I spoke myself in the eye. I followed a cop around for months, and, I'm showing what's real. And I just, it's too stereotyped. I don't think that all these people are just like what they're showing us. And we don't know what these people are like. We're being sold something all the time. But so many people think that it's real. Like, it's not a damn documentary. It's and I don't even know, can you even trust, how many documentaries can you trust? When I was telling people after I was watching the ones about the dog food and about how poisonous it is, and all the additives, and how it's killing the dogs and cats. And when I started telling people, they were like, well, you can't just believe every documentary. Well, I've seen quite a few now that say the same thing. But so if you can't believe the documentaries, why the hell would you believe the movies? It's marketed as entertainment. The CIA is completely in control of Hollywood. You know, you have to do what they say in order to get ahead. And I mean, it's a messed up situation. Today I saw somebody, she has the same name as me, and she was going to go do an interview of the present leader, and she was going to go to the house of a color that is a racist color now, and that she is going to go there and do an interview. Okay, well, how are you going to do that when he's not there? He's at some movie studio in LA. The place has had the lights off. It's got bars around it. I mean, like, what is this bullshit all the time? I mean, how many people are involved? Does she know? Is she just playing a part? Or does she get a bonus to lie? Does she know she's lying? It's just like, it's so hard to believe how many people just don't give a shit. They just lie. Sell us this fake reality and promote this stereotyping, and it's really, it's harmful to our society as a whole, you know. And you know, I really look forward to the lights just turning on. You know, this slow roll drags. It's just so slow. It's like I don't know, it's like a turtle doing a relay. Or not a relay. What is that? When sprint. Like, oh my God. Everyone else is over the finish line. Come on, turtle. And but all these people are on that turtle's back because they're all focused on different things, because mainstream media tells them where to focus, shows them what to look at, gives them the story, gives the background. I mean, they set the narrative. And you know, I don't know how it keeps working on these people. I just don't get it. I don't get. It's trash truck day. That's all those loud noises. I just don't get why something isn't triggered in these people to wake them up. It's like, why can't you see? How do I see it so clearly and you can't see it at all? That just blows my mind. And yeah, I do know there's just like so many people just trying to survive. I mean, all the time when I was younger, and I kept thinking, why are people letting the government do this? Why? This is crazy. And when I was young, and you know, when I try and tell people and get people activated and stuff, and they would just be like, no, I'd rather just sit here on my couch and complain. I don't need to look into anything. I got to get up for work tomorrow. I don't have time for this. You know, nobody wanted to see anything. And that's how we're in the place that we're at. You know, luckily now they're going to be forced to see. But I'm just, it is weird. Because I see people right now that I think their dogs are smarter than them. The dogs are, you know, thinking, and these people are not. And the worst is the arrogance. Arrogance and ignorance shouldn't go in the same sentence, but that's all these people are. They're same way you could describe them. It is they're so arrogant and so condescending, but they're so damn ignorant. They have no clue what's going on. And even if you try and show them anything, it just like shorts them out. It's like the springs start flying out. I can't fucking deal with it. And Like, I have an aunt right now who is just in a panic because my mom is refusing to get any of these things in her. And, she's waiting for hers because in Texas right now, they're all on hold because people are freezing to death. And, and these people getting these outrageous bills. Like, people haven't worked I've been in, solitary confinement for a year. So, and I know there's a lot of people who have families and stuff and they aren't able to work. I honestly don't know how some people are surviving. And, I'm glad I'm in the position I am, especially as compared to, like, if I was still in the position of being a mom and having 4 kids at home, having animals and a husband. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks like, well, at least you'd have other people there to talk about. But they're also, I mean, I saw these pictures now being posted of these kids that are being allowed back in school, and they have to be in these bubbles, like a pod. They're putting people in pods. Well, I know for myself, when I was a little kid and we put something over our head, our parents ripped it off of us and said, you're going to suffocate yourself. Get the bag off your head. But here, let's just put them all in these bags. I don't know, maybe they have air vents somewhere and that's supposed to be better. Anybody knows if you go and sit under lights in these pod things, with this is building up heat in there. It is it's going to be building up germs and stuff. And so, yeah, all these, I mean, it's horrible because if some of these kids start dying and stuff, then it's going to be blamed, oh, we got a new strain. We didn't know. We have a new strain of it. That's what's killing them. Everyone hurry, run to your homes, hide, get a couple more masks, cover your eyes, cover your ears. Maybe we need spacesuits. It's just like, oh my God, you guys, come on. Did anybody understand when there was a plague that there was? I mean, you just had to put the dead people out on your door so they could come by and pick them up all day. That the people, like, we would know a lot of people who died, half of the families, half your neighborhoods would be empty. You wouldn't go to restaurants. You wouldn't have anyone cook your food. It's like, oh my God, you guys. They wouldn't have liquor stores open. They wouldn't have weed stores open. The places that the government makes money off the taxes and that just feeds more of addiction and depression. I mean, it was just, but you try and tell anyone who is in this brainwashed state, any of the stuff, you try and say, okay, but what about this? What about this? Let's talk about this and this. Let's look at it logically. Nope. There goes the springs. Boing, boing, boing. And then they melt down. Hang up on you, slam the door, stomp away, run and find somebody else who thinks the same way they do and just, this person's so crazy. We're right, aren't we? They're crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, you guys. What? Why can't you just consider the evidence? Like, Jesus Christ, there's not a person out here that I'd want on my jury. That's probably why my jury was bullshit. It's because there's all these people. They can just be led by this misinformation program that goes on. It goes on in all the courts. The courts are illegal as fuck. They aren't there for us. Like, you could, as long as you have a lot of money and you can pay a judge off, you can commit any crime you want to. You can murder, be a serial killer. They wouldn't give a shit. Just, pay them off and it's all fine and good. As far as they're concerned, I'm sure it's like, oh, make it a little easier on us. The more people you go out there and kill. So, yeah. The system has just been built so much on just corruption for so long. And I just wish that more people could see it. I wish that we could have like real conversations with people. But you're so limited to who you can even talk to. If you can see what's going on, then you're the outcast, because they all want to stay asleep. But it's not gonna work, because we're going into it's a new time we're entering. And that the whole thing with the Mayan calendar and the end of time at 2012, then I think it was the end of an era. It was a change. What I think that in the three-dimensional world, we think that all things mean, like, if it's the end of time, then it's the end of the world. That's it. If time ends, it's over. Like, everything, we think of it on such a more hands-on way or something. I'm sure there's a better way you could describe it, but that they can't think of it in a abstract kind of way of thinking, and we're on a spiritual, and that's the thing with me. Is, to me, it's all about spiritual healing. It's all about how to heal spiritually. It's all, you're gonna find your healing by going inside and taking time to yourself and thinking about things and actually looking at things and being aware of yourself and being aware of how others are. The whole thing with the people's perceptions and their perspectives, that they are basing so much of themselves by how others see them. And you have to see yourself first. You have to figure out your own identity. You have to understand yourself before you can start looking through someone else's eyes and see what they see. Because, if you have anything's wrong, like rejection or acceptance, or, anyone who feels like they were isolated or didn't fit in, then they're going to think that the reflection from this person is the most important, that they need to change themselves so that they can be seen by this person. But over here is this person, they're going to see different. This person over here is going to see different. They're all going to see different. And it's all based on their own perceptions of things. And most people have severe wounds. And, we haven't been taught how to heal our wounds. And, even if you do the whole thing with psychology for your healing, it's not going to be the same as if you go into spiritual healing. And I was talking to my daughter yesterday. She's a social worker. No, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before. And she's a social worker, and she had just gotten this new client. And she was explaining to me about this client. And, she can't tell me details. She can only tell you, like, little things, because she can't tell you the names or anything like that. She can tell you the situation. 10-10. So this kid, I think he's 18 or something, because he raped his sister, who was 17. And the sister was trying to disclose, but then they sent all these cops in to question her. And they were saying completely rude stuff. It's totally insensitive. It was male cops. So the girl said, forget it. It never happened. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, well, that's no shocker. But supposedly, he also raped 2 little toddlers. And I feel like I'm gonna have a cough attack. But I want to finish this before. And so they couldn't prove anything with the toddlers or whatever. And I feel so much pain for the girl, because she is trapped in this system that is not really looking out for the best interest of her. And the CPS who was handling it at first, who handed it off to my where my daughter works now, um, they're more of, I don't know, maybe that's more intensive where my daughter works. It's not CPS. And CPS is corrupt as fuck. And, I mean, they are, they're a huge part of the trafficking, huge part of the kidnapping kids. They knew which kids wouldn't be missed, and they took them. And it's disgusting. And CPS is going to go down. But, so this girl is trapped in the system. I mean, she's got these male, older men cops coming and questioning her about sex. And the stuff that my daughter was saying that is in the, what's that called when you have, when they write down the stuff that's said. I had to have them for my court thing. I can't think of it. But anyways, when she could go in and read the conversations, you know, it's disgusting. The questions that these cops were asking this young girl. It was like so inappropriate. And, you know, I've been fixing up my cabin to have it, because I don't want to live here full time. I want to travel. But I would like to open it up for other travelers, or when I was talking to her, I was like, you know, it would be so cool is, you know, if I could have girls like that to come out here, you know, where they could go someplace where they could get away, they could do some healing, they could do some meditation, do yoga, be out in nature, you know, go sit under a tree and read a book, have someone to talk to as a peer, someone who has been through the stuff that they are going through and can talk to them, and that they can talk about their stuff. And I was like, you know, that's what this girl needs, in my opinion, is spiritual healing. Because, you know, you can't always get out of a situation immediately. Like, I know someone right now who's in an abusive situation, and she hopes it's going to change before she has to leave. But, you know, she's in her planning phase of how she's going to leave. And, you know, that's where her focus is. And, you know, I completely understand that. I had to make my plan years in advance. Like, it had to be a lot of things set in motion. I had to go to school. I had to get a better job. And all that. Because before I moved up here with my husband, you know, I lived in Southern California, and I was a tattoo artist, and I was independent. And then stupidly, well, I don't want to say stupidly, because it was, you know, destined. But I got married, moved up here, got pregnant, and, you know, you can't just, I don't know, I couldn't just jump up here and then, you know, run out and find a tattoo shop to work at, especially while I'm pregnant. I've got kids at home. I have a very unsupportive husband. He didn't want me to work. He didn't want me to be independent at all. He wanted me right there. And, you know, when you have been a single mom and you've been working hard and you felt all the pressure by yourself, it feels like a relief, kind of like, oh, somebody who just, you know, cares about me. They want me to be able to have some time to myself and take care of the kids. And, you know, you think it sounds like, oh, this sounds good. You just don't know where that's headed. And, so anyways, when I did decide I have to get out of this, I will either murder this person or I will drive myself off a bridge. Sorry if that's loud when I clear my throat. You know, that's the place I found myself in. It was like, I can't survive, and I've got to get out of this. And, but, you know, I had to be thoughtful about it. I had to think, like, how am I going to do this? You know, I can't just take 4 kids and go, I have to have a job. I have to make a lot of money. I have to be independent from this person. And so I had to go back to school and get a better job and stuff. And, you know, that took a few years. I told him the whole time. I mean, I was always honest about what I was doing. And, you know, he continued to play his part of what he was doing. And I ended up leaving earlier than I had originally planned. But, you gotta be, I guess you gotta be flexible with your plan. But, at least you gotta start making a plan. Is you gotta save yourself in some of these situations. And when you're a little kid, you're really stuck. I mean, it's so sad how many kids run away from home because they're being abused at home. They're just trying to find a way to survive, escape, going out, and then they're on the streets and they can't find, job, house, or anything, and they're trapped right into sex work, drugs, stealing. There's so many aspects of our civilization, our society, that we need to revamp. We gotta redo stuff. And I don't know, just when things switch over, it's going to be hard on a lot of people. But there's going to be a lot of things that are going to relieve people. And I don't know if there will still continue to be a lot of abuse in homes, if there's going to be ways to combat that. Pedophilia, and also, what's that called when people just beat people in their house? It's just abuse, I don't know. So I don't know if that's just inside of people. And my dad had money. There's a lot of people who are pedophiles who have money. They're not stressed about money. So, is that gonna change what's inside of people? There's so much stuff about the spiritual change, the spiritual realization, knowing that you are accountable. This isn't a free ride. You don't just get to come in here and abuse people and kill people, cheat people and stuff, and then you think like, oh, it's okay, I'm just gonna die anyways. No, sorry. You need to wake up to the real reality, because that's not it. You will be held accountable for your behavior, and you will be the one who holds yourself accountable. God's not going to sit up there and, do it. I think that, I was talking about my dad being in that thing that I could only explain as purgatory, as being isolated and having to be alone. And, I think, and I've also talked about the, what did I call it? Like a boardroom, or the chambers, or whatever. Like, there is beings, advanced beings that are in charge of like universal law. So I don't know, if that's part of that system. Like, you can't go in. I know you can't you can't be going in and murdering people and then walk out of there and then go up and be high vibration, that. So there's got to be some kind of way that when you're doing bad things, that you're trapped. But it's not God, it's not hell. I mean, this is hell. We are involved with evil. We live daily with evil. And when you die, there's I don't know, like a quarantine period that you have to purge that out. It depends on how attached you are to it, how fast you can go, and it depends on where did you leave. Were you a high vibration, and then you left, and then you went and did all these bad things? Because you're not going to go back up to high vibration. I don't know how you could be in high vibration and go back and do a bunch of bad things, unless you were just totally manipulated and tricked into it. But you definitely couldn't go and do a bunch of bad stuff to people and then go back and take your place back where you were in the, in the frequency of going up in the high vibrations. You're going to stay down in the low, and you're going to be isolated. And you can do work. I told you before, there's like school and education and stuff on the other side. And, you know, I don't know. I guess you could go there and spend hundreds of years trying to figure it out, being in quarantine and isolation and purgatory. You know, when you're talking about forever, and or if you're talking about infinity, and there's no time. Time is a structure here. Time was part of their whole enslavement system. Time is the concept that they manage our lives with, you know? So there's so much stuff for people to really start understanding. And, you know, I like that my daughter is into psychology and stuff because at least she's focused on the healing. I just say that you've got to have something bigger to answer to. You have to know how important what you're doing really is. You have to acknowledge how many people you really affect by every single thing you do. Like just me sitting here talking, I think about all the different ways that it can affect people. And I mean, I can't even think of all the different ways, right? I can just try and look at different ways. I don't want to focus on the negative because I don't want to make that happen. But I mean, people could listen to me say this stuff. Like you could have me speak to a room full of people, and then you could have all those people question, and they're gonna all have gotten something different out of it. It's all by how we see the world and our own perceptions. And okay, I'm just doing my daily ramble, I guess, because it's just how I see things. I see the only way forward is to see things from a spiritual point of view, to acknowledge who and what we are and our purpose, and to have a deeper understanding of what life is all about. And you know, psychology hasn't saved us, and that's been around for a while. It hasn't made some significant change. When people have their Jesus moment, that's when they change. Go read some books about near-death experiences and what happens when the people wake up. You know, that's life-changing. That's how people change. And all these things that people are going through right now, they're all come to Jesus moments, and it's all working in alignment and sync with. That's how you can see God's hand at work in everything we're doing, in the universe, whatever you want to call it. Source. Some people call it source. Some people call it God. Some people, you know, a lot of people get in the Jesus thing. And, you know, I know I've said this before, because as far as I'm concerned, Jesus was a man, just like, you know, me being a woman. He had a message, and they took it and manipulated it. And there is so many people. I was thinking about this yesterday. There's so many people. I think it was maybe it was a singer, or maybe it was a writer or a poet. And it was a while back. Maybe it was even out of that Peggy Sue movie, where when she was talking to that poet guy. But and everybody at school thought he was just a weirdo. And you know, there's people all around us all the time that come with higher ways of thinking that are here to show us and help us to understand other ways of being. And yes, so many times they're just called weirdos, and they're discounted. Right now, there's a whole bunch of us that are here, and we're all bringing in messages of hope and healing, and I don't know, godly messages, spiritual messages, other insights to help us live a better life. And you know, that is what is going to be what helps us to be able to move into these different times too, is because there's so many. They can't just blow it off. Like, there's so many people now speaking out with the same stuff, the same messages. Just like I had said before, you know, you could go on and there's about, I don't even know, tons and tons of long-haired girls sitting there talking about how to get closer to God and how to get closer to yourself through spiritual practices. So, you know, it's a movement, and it's taken us into the new era, and you know, we're still in the transition phase. It's definitely not the part that I like. You know, even having kids, being in the transition phase is the worst part. It's very painful, and this is super painful times. But you know, you just keep on remembering that there's a lot of good coming our way. You know, we just got to get through this, and soon we will have just this whole new thing, and it's going to be so exciting. And you know, if you're suffering or having troubles and you don't know what to do, you know, there's especially when you're in isolation, there's a lot of books you can read. You know, you got to get out of the thinking of what you've been told and start listening to yourself. And you know, you can look for books and stuff, but I would say really try and focus on spiritual teachings, because that is where you're going to find not just hope, but you're going to find healing, real healing. So, okay, that's probably enough of my rambling today. But, you know, have a great day. And, you know, you have God's there with you all the time. Even if you can't feel it, there you have God, you have guides, you have people who care about you all around you. You just can't see them. But if you just go inside and you just try and listen, you'll start feeling them. So have a great day. Love you.